you're starting a foundation for your family, right? So how I look at it is your daughter in some eyes may try to look or be better than you, but at the end of the day, you set the foundation. She can't set another foundation.
Colombia has the capital, which is Bogota. We feel that it should be changed to Medellin.
This has been an idea for a while. We would, we were in other endeavors and we would talk about it. It's okay, it'll come. And we came to this point where it was just like, I think now it's time. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Two Generations Deep with Elkin and Elkin. We have a special guest in the building. Tune in with us today and learn more about him.
Luis Gonzalez from Complete Choice Title.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite.
Welcome, my brother.
I appreciate the gesture, man. I really do.
Good. Well, you're coming on here today to hang out with us.
And thank you for calling me a special guest. I like that.
Yeah?
You are
I like that.
Why wouldn't I?
Well, because it doesn't have to be that I'm a special guest. I could just be a guest. But the fact that you included special, it makes me feel special. Thanks.
This guy, this is going to be a special.
There you go with the special again.
Special in the wrong way. It's going to be a special episode. Like, did you ride the yellow bus? No.
I never figured out how to get on it. It came to pick me up, but I was skipping school. I was like, forget that. I want to go with them.
Oh, my God.
But as we like to start off every episode with the cheers.
A little toast.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, girls. I'm sorry, men, gentlemen.
Let's make this one memorable.
Yes.
Really cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
That's
People,
camera. They're all on you, Luis.
Nice.
People start to think we might be alcoholics here, but sorry.
Nah, I don't think this is a meeting. I don't think anyone's going to get up and say what happened with them today.
You don't find this to be a meeting?
No. I thought there was a casual conversation between three girls. I mean, men. Sorry.
Yeah.
Listen, before we start, just a little disclaimer.
Yes.
I don't take myself too seriously. I'm somewhat of a clown. I'll say some stupid crap along the way. So forgive me if I offended anybody. It's not my intention.
Never his intention. He comes from a good place, right?
Great energy.
Luis.
Right behind the bus.
Luis, tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Who you are? And what moves you?
Wow. I like that last part. So, do you want me to start backwards or whatever? Because what moves me actually is
Well, first start with who you are.
Well, Luis Gonzalez, 49 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I like nice walks along the beach, nice dinner if anyone's asking or wants to take me out. No, listen, I am a migrant, born in Cuba. We came over, I had just turned 7 years old in the early 80s.
Nice.
I have a sibling. I have an older brother. Growing up, in the early 80s with a brother and whatever, obviously it had a lot of challenges. We didn't know the language.
Mm-hmm.
He's 7 years older than me, so he wasn't around for a little bit. But for the most part, that migrant mentality that my parents felt had really created a foundation for me, because everything that is or has become Luis Gonzalez is a product of that.
Nice.
It started off with seeing my dad work literally all day, leave at 6 a.m, get back at 11. As well as my mom. So all these little things that you saw that were just part of your normal day created and instilled something in you that then leads you to be either a thinker, a believer, an actor, doing whatever you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
And in all that, um, I ended up kind of learning, I had to unfortunately learn a little bit about the streets,
Right.
learn about the books. So I am, if you want to call me something, I am in my own words, a yin and a yang. I'm kind of the both extremes in some way or not. Because I see myself, I can be like you see me, a clown, and I can be the quietest person in the world and you won't even know that I'm there.
Right.
So all these things, kind of make up the fabric of who I am. But going back to the last part of that question was what moves me. And these days, what moves me is my family.
Nice.
My daughter. I know you're about to have a beautiful little girl. And the reason why I bring that up is because in the course of your life and becoming who you are, there's so many things that happen that start to shape you, but you don't really know the things that are really going to shape you until they really do, right? So it's like you can go through life and say, oh, but that job or this or that, and it doesn't really mean anything until you actually have something like you're about to find out that shapes you. So today, the things that really move me, to answer your question, is that family mindset that everything I do is for my family.
Okay. So we actually have a true, Cuban, right? You were born in Cuba.
I was born in Cuba. Migrated here. Went through all the obstacles that you can possibly imagine with the language barrier and stuff like that.
Right.
But again, the fact that my parents, you know how they say lead by example, obviously. That example was always of a hardworking, motivated, no holds bar kind of attitude. And that really instilled in me that I've been working since I was 11 years old.
So are any of your parents professionals at anything, or they were just hardworking?
So, no, in essence, just typical workers. My dad has always had an ambitious personality. He's just been unfortunately, a product of fear. So he's had ambition. He's wanted things. He's actually been able to do a lot of things that a lot of people possibly wouldn't at his age. At 50 years old, he went back to school.
Wow.
Yeah. And he got he graduated from Miami-Dade College, which is, to me, it was super impressive.
That's amazing.
Because he set that goal. He did it working again all day and still finding time to do this. I thought it was, like if this dude can do it, why can't I can't settle. I can't whatever. So all these little things, that you see, and then him, having a vast knowledge of so many things. I can remember seeing my dad, the first thing I learned about him, and I can remember one of my first memories was he built the house that we lived in Cuba. Like, build it.
Right.
Like brick by brick by brick. To me, that was crazy.
Right.
So coming here, and having this kind of like, and what my perception was ability and being kind of shut down because you don't know the land. And, obviously the same barriers,
Right.
And, but I seeing that ambition in him and wanting to do something, he ended up becoming an electrician, certified, air condition. I don't know whether there's a certification for that or whatever, but when HVAC, whatever, he is, a welder. So all these things, and I always used to tell him, but why don't we open up an AC company or something like that? And he was so, afraid of not being like that provider for us, that he always settled on making us the priority and not going after that dream. So I kind of look at it and I see, like, he could have done so many things in the world that we live in. Honestly, bro, I was just talking about this with my wife. You could take anything, that bobblehead, and if you're good enough to sell it, you can make a career out of it. So think of how many things we look and do and are a part of on a normal basis. And it's always something, these chairs, these cameras, everything. There's someone selling it. Someone created a business out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's opportunity to do it. It's just sometimes people are fearful
And that's,
of,
I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
That's the difference between both, because my grandfather, his father was the same way. Provide, provide, provide. That's all they know. You save, save, save for, God forbid something were to happen. They didn't want to take that risk. Where I don't know if that's the immigrant mentality, of like, we're in this country. It provides so much opportunity. Let's take advantage of that opportunity, because you went through the same thing, and you're in your threads. We'll talk about that next, what these threads mean, but it's, you guys went through the same thing. Same thing. I got here. All right. My parents did this. I don't, not that I want to be like that. No disrespect to them, but I want to take that last name.
You're
to
the evolution of
Exactly.
us.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the same thing with my daughter now. I want her, and sometimes when people ask, why is it that
Exactly.
you do whatever? It's because, it was funny. My wife, which I love very much. I love you, baby. Is hard on my daughter a little bit because she wants her to be so much better than we were. So when our daughter asks us, but why do you push, is because the answer is always because we want you to be better than we were.
Ooh, I got something for that.
Wow.
I got something for that.
Wow.
Be better than you. So
Don't you want your son and all, right now he's a byproduct of you, right? Because you have taught him everything. But in reality, don't you wish that he can surpass you in every way? Wouldn't that be a goal of yours, to see that when his growth flowers through everything, that you're looking at it and you're like,
I had so every December 31st, right? We sit down. This is why our shows are unfiltered and unscripted, because something that you say triggers something else, right?
100.
So, it was December 31st. And, you're okay with me sharing the story?
Go for it.
Um,
You know exactly what story this is.
and, I sit my family down every December 31st, and we go over our goals that we set up for the year and what's going to happen the following year and so on. And I remember, telling my son, hey, you need to keep doing this. You need to keep doing that. I need you to be better than me. I need you to be better than me. I need you to be better than me. And that's why when you said those words, it was so powerful, because my son at the time was 17, 18.
17.
So last year then.
He was like,
Yeah. So, he says to me, respectfully, I wish you stopped saying that.
Really?
Yeah. He says, you know how hard it is to be better than you?
Wow. Wow.
And I've never used those words again.
Wow.
I say that because you're starting a foundation for your family, right? So how I look at it is, your daughter in some eyes may try to look or be better than you, but at the end of the day, you set the foundation. She can't set another foundation. She's building on top of what you already built. So it's just adding on to what you've already built or he's already built, right? So it's adding on to your legacy. So it's not a matter of, I never looked at it as being better. It's like, all right, this is what my family built. I'm going to make it better. Not be better than him, but make it better. Grow it. Not go back, just grow it. And then this is what will be on for generation after that. So that's why it's like, I don't look at it as being better. I just look at it as growing what he already built. And that's
which is there's no wrong.
Yeah.
Obviously, at the end of the day,
tomato.
Yeah, there is no wrong perspective. It's just a matter of how, I guess the real insight is, how you feel. And I can see why you would say that, because, I look at my dad and I look at him, and we're going to use that example, right? I look at my dad and I don't think I could ever be as smart as him. because I just feel that way.
Mm.
But I was, in the sense, I said I wanted to accomplish more than he did so that he could be proud.
Correct.
So that's the perspective. But to your perspective, I love it because it is, it's crazy that we are able and we've been blessed enough to create something, whether it be, I don't think I measure things by size or how much this or that. It shouldn't be done by that. It has to be, I mean, in my opinion, by something that's a little bit more emotional and a little bit more of a foundation. If I make $10 more than my dad did, that doesn't make me, in my eyes, that. But if I would, one of the things that I wanted to do was, it's crazy, but when I was a kid, one of the things that I thought of the most was I didn't want to be a burden on my dad. And I figured if I figured out how to either create for myself or provide for myself, that was something that it was less than I had to ask of him. And that's how I can help him, because I really couldn't help him with other things.
Mm-hmm.
But if I could be self-sufficient in certain things, I figured if he had to spend $5 less on me, then it's $5 more he had for himself.
Good.
So it's something that's how I measure like that. It's not necessarily about money. I don't think it's not, at the end of the day, the things I'm trying to create for my daughter is a understanding of life. And I don't think that there's a value that it's monetary. It's if I can open her eyes, and she could be tomorrow, she could be whatever. They say, I want to grow flowers. I don't care. Just be the best grower. The most, however you approach what you do it with every dignity, passion that you have for that. And if you do that, you'll be happy. And if she's happy, because at the end of the day, I think sometimes we measure things like by, but if I don't have this, I don't have that. And I think that's the wrong way to measure it. If you have, in every day, there's things that don't go your way, things that do go your way. But if something doesn't go your way for 10 minutes of the hour, that doesn't ruin the hour. And if 3 hours of the day went to shit, sorry, can I say bad words?
Yes.
Sorry.
Shit.
Damn it. That doesn't mean that you had a bad day. You have to see in that perspective.
You had a bad hour.
You had a bad hour or a bad week. Sometimes it's just how you measure it. But I think if you can get to the point where the things that you bring, and in this case to my daughter, the things I can teach her. And I always tell her, my biggest job, responsibility is to make you a good person. That's it. There's nothing else to that.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's forgotten.
That's forgotten these days.
That's forgotten.
That's it.
These days for sure. So society, and we'll call it social media, makes everything, fake, or this is what you need to be. As we were just talking about on the last episode, be releasing soon, guys. That the foundation starts at home. People lose sight of that. Some people want to be friends to their kids. It's not that. You got to be your kid's parent.
Yeah.
Hey, this is how it looks like. Walk this line, and whatever comes out of it, comes out of it. It's a lot of people are too worried about being cool and sticking with what's in, and fuck all that.
Yeah. I think that, to your point, you made a good point. Society has lost that because we're so much more into how we can compete against one another and what the essence of me and my happiness, and it's all reflective of I think, a lot of insecurities.
100%.
If you're a person who is happy with yourself, I'm not saying that we're not free of issues. We all have issues.
100%.
And we all go through things, and we're all dealing with things right now as it is. But if you're secure and you're a happy person, and your insecurities are there, but they're minute compared to all the things, all the blessings that you have, and you reflect that, then there's no need for the facade. There's no need for that fake environment. I mean, I understand social media and how it works, and obviously this is part of social media.
100%.
Because, at the end of the day, you're putting something out there that you hope touches in a social way, an emotional something in somebody, and they never can relate because that's what it is. And I think what happens is there's not enough of this.
100.
And you have a lot more of the things that are, in my opinion, fake and unreal. And then when you are a person that wants in your life, I don't know, guidance or some way, you gravitate to the things that are like this. Because again, like you just said, and I've had this happen to me. It's crazy because when it does, it freaks me out. I'll have a conversation with somebody that is very random about anything, and something that you say triggers something that they remember.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 years later, they tell you, bro, you remember that conversation I had with you?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, that changed me, or that did something to me.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, really? I think that that's what people gravitate when they see stuff like this, and they relate that it doesn't have to be all fake, bro.
Yeah, we've had that, right? Someone talked to you about, hey, the first episode made me reach out to my father because of the connection that we have. And it's like, wow, did I lose that with my dad? And, you know, that's what we're here to do is spread positivity, tell people it's okay to express themselves. And that there's nothing wrong with it, especially
spread
as
love.
men.
Yeah, spread love, not hate. You know, if I had a stack of hundreds here and then we were talking about gold watches and the big chains, we would get a lot more views.
100.
You know, we would get a lot more views. But the fact is that Louis, we have an episode set up. We're going to have 2 young kids on here. One is 14. One is 18. Probably 2 of the best kids in reference to how they're growing up today and their belief in God and God first. Man, they inspire me.
The maturity level is.
Yeah, it's on another level.
It's like you're talking to he's a 14-year-old, but you think you're talking to a 27-year-old.
Right.
It's
so why do I say that? How many people are grabbing kids and putting them on a podcast so the world could see that it doesn't have to be all that stuff that's out there, you know? And that's what we're trying to do. So little by little, you know, and with your support and, you know, others, you know, we'll grow this thing and, you know, and for a positive impact, you know. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. But the fake stuff, no, we're going to call it out. We're going to call it out. And
that's fair, bro.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that anyone that doesn't believe that is wrong. And I'm not saying that, you know, that your perspective is the only one. I'm not saying that.
No.
But when you're being fair, I think the worst thing that someone could ever do is neglect that someone else has an opinion or a perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I have unfortunately experienced people that they don't care what you have to say. If you're not saying what they're saying, they don't care what it is. They can care less what it is that you have to say, what you represent, what you stand for. They just believe what they believe. And it's sad because the best thing you could ever do is find a way to put yourself in someone else's shoes to give you better perspective. Because if life is just about how I see it, then there's no growth. There's no ever there's not a challenge. There's no interaction and beyond you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you don't agree with me, whatever you. No, but that's where you want that conversation.
You want that dialogue.
Why is it that you don't agree with me?
Mm-hmm.
Because something that you may say may make me understand you a little better, so that and we're not saints here. We're not, you know, I'm a fractured, broken person in reality because I'm not perfect, but I do practice certain things that help me be better. And one of those is I'm not going to judge you just because of whatever. And if there's something interesting about you, I'd rather see that than the things that are not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes we get caught up in, well, if you don't see that you like McAllen, I don't like McAllen, I can't drink with you. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Well, tell me what you like about McAllen. Oh, because damn, I didn't know that. Damn, that might open up some kind of perspective for me that I might then look at it and say like, yeah, man, I didn't think of that before. Let me enjoy it. And then and then you grow from that. But if not, or it could be like, well, you know what, bro, I get everything you're saying. It's not for me.
Right.
And it's okay. Cause again, like back to what we're saying, as long as you're fair about it, and I think that's what it is.
Luis, you're an individual that, is constantly out, and you're a social butterfly. How is your circle these days? How is your,
But it's crazy because, I've asked myself a question, and I've actually had a conversation with somebody that for whatever reason kind of took off that way, because the question was like something to your kind of question. And it was like, well, you must have relationships with these customers of yours. Let's call them customers. Obviously, I don't call them customers. I call them friends. Mm-hmm. And the reality is, you guys know me obviously at this point a little bit better, that you know that when it comes to business, if I can't be friends with you, I honestly don't want to work with you, bro. I really do. And it's not because that I don't I look at you a different way. It's just that you have to accept me for me. And I'm not going to be perfect. And if we can't be friends and share that, mm-hmm. then I don't think that there's a working environment that allows that. So this person asked me something along, like implying that my relationships are fake with my customers.
I like that. I like where this is going.
Okay. So I said to him, man, you know what? I know that maybe you may see that. Mm-hmm. And that may be your perspective or perception of me. Mm-hmm. But then you don't know me. Because my relationships with people is real, irrelevant if I work with them or not. So this person was like saying something, and I said to him, here's the thing, and you may understand this or may not. We all have friends, and I think we've discussed this a little bit in the past. We all have friends that we grew up with, right? People that we've known, and we say that, well, because I've known you for 30 years, you're supposed to be whatever. That's not true. That's not true. Time doesn't distinguish or actually tell you if a friend's a real friend. It's actions. It's love exchanges. It's conversations. It's things that you feel, interaction with things, or in when it comes to how you relate to things and how you perceive them, not time. Time doesn't mean anything. So the reason why I got into that, or answering this question the way that it ended up coming out, was because I told him, I said, I've had friends that were in my life for a long time, and they're not in my life any longer. And what's crazy is that the job that I chose, that I've had since I was a little kid, has allowed me to replace friends that weren't really friends with friends. So today, in this, my whatever stage I'm in my evolution, because I'm thinking I'm evolving every day, the people that I relate with, the people that I hang out with, are people that I met at work. So that doesn't mean that it's not a real friendship because there's a connection to it. No, that's not fair. Mm-hmm. It's irrelevant. I can care less if I work with you. That's not where the friendship started because of it, or maybe it got introduced to me that way. I met you through somebody that we both have as a friend, and right. I'm happy that he introduced me to you. Mm-hmm. Because one, his idea or thought of me being a good fit for you is a blessing to me that he thinks that of me.
Correct.
And then meeting you and having a conversation with you and your son that wasn't expected assured that. You see what I'm saying to you? It glued it together. And I said, yeah, that's why I had to. Because I don't think there's, again, and you mentioned God or whatever, and I'm a person of faith. I don't think there's no coincidences. Mm-hmm. I think everything is meant to be. And there's a lot of things that happen because they have to happen. And if you can go back, and anyone goes back right now and says, you know what, let me figure out how I got here. I'm sure there's specific moments in your life where you went left instead of right, and you knew exactly why, and that's why you're here.
So I guess I circle back to the question, you gave me some different views, right? Time doesn't determine a friend, right?
My circle now
Mm-hmm.
is based off people that I've met through my job.
Okay.
The friends I have, again, you said I'm a social butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
In some aspects of my life. In others, I'm very quiet, very, like I have one friend,
But that's not a bad thing.
No,
I'm not coming from a bad
no,
place.
I know that. I know. But what I'm saying is that, my circle these
Because if
days.
that's the case, we could end the interview right now. No, I'm
Oh my
kidding.
God. Excuse me.
For sure.
My circle right now
Mm-hmm.
may seem really big because I'm lucky enough that I work with a lot of people that I have relationships with. And I honestly, again, I think that in order for us to work together, it has to extend beyond work. It can't be just about work.
No, your concept that I only work with you if I feel that you're a friend.
Yes.
That's unique. A lot of people don't carry that. And maybe that's why they can't understand and they call you fake, because they can't process that, because in their eyes, it may be where everyone's a customer. I don't want friends.
Yeah. No, I get it. And that's a safe route to go by, because then you don't have disappointment.
Mm-hmm. And maybe they've been hurt before.
Yeah.
Maybe they have those barriers up where they don't want that. What I do know is that at the age that I'm at,
38, no?
28.
Oh,
28.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I thought it was 38.
At the age that I'm at, I do choose wisely on how I spend my time and with who I spend my time.
Yes.
Because,
yes.
I used to give it away before to everyone. And now
you realize how limited it is.
Correct. And now I realize that I don't want to give it to anyone. And lately, when I turned right around 50, I am matching the energy that someone gives me. So if, I put up a post the other day that anything like partnership, relationship, ownership, friendship, all those require work.
Absolutely.
Okay. Relationships, they all require work. And, friendship is not short of that,
Requires both ends.
Yeah. Friendship is not short of that. You call your friend, and it can't always be a one-way street. It has to be, we got to be pouring in the same cup. So,
yep.
So Luis, you mentioned that your business, what is your business? I know you might have several businesses also. So.
Yeah. So my main endeavor, you like that?
Jesus.
Thank you.
I'm
trying to be, is in the title industry, which is obviously in real estate. It's funny because I got into title by accident.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't ever see it as what it is. Title, to me, and anyone who does title, I'm sure you agree, is very boring. It's this processing of information and figuring out what measure and steps you need to take to get the job done. But I never saw it that way. I always saw it from a marketing perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you an example. And I think I've shared it with you before. A long time ago, when I started in this industry, social media wasn't as, didn't exist. Right. you had I think MySpace was MySpace, I think started a couple years after I started this.
Were you around when?
I was.
Yeah.
So, and then again, I didn't know anything about it, but what I mean by that is that now the industry's changed so much. Obviously, these platforms give you visibility and you can show off a brand and now you create something that people kind of follow. And back then you didn't have that. You didn't have ways of communicating like you do now. And everything was through handshakes and basic, concepts. So back then, I don't know, maybe you weren't in the industry, but you knew a little bit about it. A lot of these, how do you meet people now, right? You go, you search them and you see ABC company and you follow what they do, where they're at, and that didn't exist. So the only way you really got to know people was in these trade shows. So, a lot of the industry was really driven by trade shows, and they would do trade shows basically every week.
Mm-hmm.
You can find one and these massive, type of platforms that everyone come out, they rent a hall, and you would bring your little, your desk with your little giveaways and with your branding, whatever. And then you would hope people come by and you would, share this and conversations would start like that. And obviously related to the industry, what do you do? And the title, blah, blah, blah. But the reason why I bring it up is because back then, the traditional way of doing things, which I think that in any industry, the reason things evolve is because someone starts to look at it from a different perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I would look at these trade shows and I'm like, man, there's a lot of people here, but they're not really like, what are they doing? Are they really getting any information that's valuable? Man, I'm sure there was, I'm sure a small percentage would get maybe, a lender that they were really interested in or whatever. And it was all kind of like, well, what can you do for me? That kind of thing. And I realized that in all these trade shows, as this innocent little butterfly going into this business with my background is in marketing, or how I think, I guess, in background. And I was looking at it and I'm like, man, I see a lot of these people, but they're just like, there's nothing really going on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're taking.
It's more mingling than anything.
Yeah, they're taking their little widget things and they're putting in their little bag, and then they go outside and they throw them away.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real connection, because all it is just you're presenting me with something that the other dude that has two tables down has it in a different color.
Right.
And you take, hey, that's cool. And then you're like, okay, what do I do? And throw it away.
Little stress ball.
Yeah, right.
with the company name on it.
Right, which is cool. I mean,
pen.
all those marketing things work because
Right.
it creates a visual effect that you can go back and relate.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't real. There was no connection. So I started thinking, I'm like, man, I've seen all these people. And I noticed that all of them would gravitate to this.
What is that?
Everything.
What is that?
Alcohol. every trade show would set up a little bar.
Mm.
And everybody, after you do your rounds. So you go, I'm telling you, these massive things. So you go every aisle by aisle and you all end up at the bar. Conversations at the bar. So I said, well, shit. Well, why don't I promote the bar? Sponsor the bar.
Always thinking.
And I said, well, again, traditional kind of processes were to me, they were mundane. I don't get that. I get it. You give you wanted a stress ball, you get a stress ball, but where's the connection with a guy that gave you the stress ball and you had a conversation with him? None. Because that's what you want to leave with, right? Someone that you felt you connected with to then hopefully do business with.
Right.
So I said, let me focus on the bar, bro. And I'll go to the bar. And then you show up at the bar and I'll be like, what's up? What's up? What you drinking, man? And we have a conversation about everything except real estate.
Right.
And at the end, we're like, oh, I sponsor the bar, but thank you. Oh, but let me get your number. Now we had a whole 30 minutes of conversation that I can go back to him 3 days later and go, hey, you want to go to lunch, bro?
Right.
And that was a connect. So I started thinking of that way. And obviously that's how, things have changed now. Back then it was a little bit different, but I thought, you always have to create, if there's like what you guys are doing now, if there's something, and it doesn't matter how amazing it is, it could always be better. It could be refined. And
right.
I kind of looked at the title business like that way. So I didn't look at it from, let me get a deal from you. It was, how can we create a relationship? And that's the difference. That's what's made me at least I think I'm somewhat successful at.
Well, we don't think, that you are successful. You're relationship driven, man. And that's I think that's the best way. Yeah, that's the best way. That's the best way to build a company and build loyalty.
I think, you were asking me earlier about the whole video thing, and I told you I'm not doing it to really, I don't think that I'm engaging it in the way of how can I get business out of it?
Mhm.
I'm kind of doing it as, well, I want people to recognize my brand. Let me showcase a little bit of what it is. And in a lot of aspects, it's rejuvenated me. It's given me a new purpose because I've been doing this for 24 years, bro. And in 24 years, I've been very blessed.
You get stale after
and you get so stale that you're like, man, am I any good at this?
No.
And obviously you've acquired knowledge, and I think you have a lot of experiences that really do that. But you're like, I'm sure that a lot of people don't feel this way, but for me personally, I felt like, what's next? And is this the,
yes.
is this going to be the end of me? So I was like, and then this was like something that was so far fetched from me. I'm telling you, I'm this quiet. I know it doesn't seem that way, but I can sit in a room by myself, quiet for 10 hours and you won't even know. And then that's normal to me.
Mm-hmm.
So being in front of a camera, doing stuff like this was so like, nah.
How do you feel? Go ahead.
It's different. This has been an idea for a while. We would, we were in other endeavors and we would talk about it. It's okay, it'll come. And we came to this point where it was just like, I think now it's time. Right? So you
have something to say.
Exactly.
I
something to say, and especially him, that he's obviously been around the game, been in the game for years. So he's had a lot of shit to say. Right? So we took that next level. We evolved like you said, we're trying to evolve every day. Right? So this is just a platform to do that. Showcase who we are, our brand, right? While also putting people on, right? This is Luis Gonzalez with Complete Choice Title. It's like, we're just sharing all this, but this is the next step in his evolution, my evolution, how we contribute to society and the mark that we leave.
Yes.
On top of everything else that we've done.
Which kind of goes back to the point that you made about the foundation, the legacy that you're leaving. Obviously, I think in some very selfish way, we all want to be remembered. Have you seen those commercials that say, in 100 years from now, no one's going to know that house where you lived and the thing, because there's nothing really that valuable about things. You could have the best house in the world and the prettiest of whatever. And when you're gone, someone else will take over that house and someone else will be driving that car and whatever. It's just the evolution. That's how things are. But if you leave a mark on something, and what I mean by that is when you leave a mark on someone, and especially if you can do something like, let's say, if you're someone that created something that has lived on, like I'm a Bruce Lee fan, right? They say I like Bruce Lee.
Move like water.
I try to. More like a sack of potatoes, but think about this. Bruce Lee's been dead for how many years? Almost 50 years?
76.
No,
the Bruce Lee quote, "You move like water."
I think everyone knows that.
But the point is that right there is a lasting something. And I think in a very selfish way, we all want to leave something behind that remembers, or reminds somebody of us. And a lot of people are not lucky enough to do that.
How could that be?
Well, because as time progresses, generations change. Do you remember your grandfather's grandfather?
No, because they didn't have what we have now.
Right.
You know that your daughter, once she has kids, let me show you my dad.
Right.
Let me go episode 2 generations deep. That's my dad.
Yeah.
That's your grandfather.
Yeah.
So your digital footprint.
That's why this is so important now when
will live on.
when you have something that you have cultivated, and now it's you planted a tree, right? That tree's going to outlive generations.
Mhm.
That's what it is. These things to me represent that. Another kind of undirected reason why these videos that I'm making or doing are rejuvenating me, because to me, I want to make them fun. I want to make them informative and entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes so much thought that it occupies my mind with positive things instead of all this crazy shit that goes on, right?
Luis, I am telling you, and that's why Elkin pointed to that is, I don't know if it's a viejo thing, when we hit a certain age, right?
I think it's part of that immortality thing that we start to think at a certain age, and we start like looking and analyzing a thing a little bit like, wait, it's real. It's real.
Yeah, I can't give you that response, but just these few months working with Elkin, I mean, I've worked with Elkin since he was 18.
Yeah.
But now we launched this new thing, and man, it's just pumped blood into us. Like, let's go. And again, when you hear the success stories that, hey, you motivated me to call my dad, seeing what you and your son are saying, that, like I said, we already won, not that anybody's keeping track, but to me, that fulfills my soul.
Yes.
I got a question for you. How important is your word?
For me, it's everything. There isn't anything else. I hate the fact that it's so loosely lost. Like, whatever. No, man. What defines you if it's not that? What is, Elkin and Elkin Jr. if it's not the things that you say have to be the things that you do?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
It's that there's not a lot of there's. I don't want to say
lost
there's no
that.
word, but we've definitely lost it.
I think that there's some people are
I'm sorry. How comfortable do you feel doing business with someone today on a handshake?
I mean, there's still very rare that you could find someone and say, "Hey, we're agreeing to this. Let's see if you stick to it." I've seen it a handful of times, and every time it's been with this guy. He's gone up to someone and says, I don't know, he just feels something from these people, and it's like, yo, you just agreed to this deal on a handshake with this guy. How do you even know? He's like, I just know. Yeah. And sure enough, it's been a thing.
Luis, we bought a property in South Carolina. The 1408.
Okay, gotcha.
On a handshake. The guy said, I have it sold. If it's still around, I will give you a call. But when I call you, you got to be ready to buy it. If it's still around. The deal fell through. The guy called me a year and 1 day later because he had to wait to be able to get out of his contract with his realtor. Wow.
This is exactly what happened.
Yep. This is a true story. The next day he calls me and says, hey, and I'm here, and he's in South Carolina. I'm so-and-so, and I'm like, I forgot who he was. And I'm like, he's like, hey, I had 14. Oh, I said, hey, how are you? He's like, great, great. He's like, look, the realtor tried to close the deal with his friend. One was trying to buy the property. So I backed off. I had to wait to be out. Do you want the property? I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you at the price that you offered me a year ago. I said, yes, I do. However, I need to sell building here to be able to buy that property from you. He says to me, are you a man's man? And I said, absolutely. He says, can I count on your word? I said, absolutely. 6 months. He held the property for 6 months. Bought the property from him. Oh, just having your word is so important these days, but.
No, it could be on anything. It doesn't have to be something of
that.
Yeah, to that extent of buying a property. It could be, hey, I'm going to be here at this time.
Yeah.
Somebody was late today.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a poor example. That's a poor example. Somebody was late today.
No, but listen, when that happens, you have to be accountable.
No.
Right. But you communicate. You say,
Correct.
hey, I'm going to be late. You just don't show up, and not to
And
sound
he
like
communicated with
time.
with ample time,
exactly.
so on and so on.
Not to because not to call anyone names, but there's jackasses out there that'll say, hey, I'll be there at 4:30. It's 5:00. Nothing, and they show up at 5:30 thinking everything's all good.
Do you know what I feel has changed a lot? And this is possibly a video I'm going to do. The standard for things has diminished. If you have to be, because at the end of the day, this is how I see it, right? If you still believe or have certain beliefs and you are cut by certain cloth, you are a reminder to the people that are not, that things are still a certain way. If you are a person of your word, you may not see it that way, but to someone that doesn't keep their word, you're a reminder that there's still people that do. I think we as a society in general have lowered our standards so much that we accept things because we think that's just normal. And unfortunately, whether it be, I honestly, I don't like, obviously it's not the first time that we meet. So I always like to show up on time, whatever. And I honestly don't like showing up late. It just so happens that the person I was with showed up late. Showed up late, didn't even tell me they were showing up late. To your point, I looked around, I'm like, and at that point you could be like, fuck. But we've accepted that low standard from people. And it's like, whatever, what am I going to do?
Right.
We need to regress a little bit and go back to the fundamentals of things. And whether it be that we start in this small little juncture and say, okay, you know what? This is a minute, insignificant thing, but I'm gonna restore this. And if it's being on time, be that dude. 10 minutes early, on time, because, if you're on time, you're late, that kind of thing, right. that mentality that we grew up with, and instill that. And then maybe that's a reminder to other people, or when you become a father, that's one of the things that you're going to be instilling in your offspring. I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot. It's like, whatever, but no, those are little things that if you continue to do, they grow.
It's a major thing. It's a major thing.
Since we are in the father thing, and everybody who's been talking with my son, I asked him, Luis, what advice, one piece of advice that you could give Elkin on what he's about to embark, what would it be?
Wow. That's one that's heavy.
Yeah, it is heavy.
Because there's so many variables and so many.
But it's okay. You can only give him one, Luis. You got one, and you could take your time.
Honestly, if I can share something that I've learned myself and then kind of like process, because I've processed this, is that you're not going to be perfect.
Ooh.
And you're going to make a ton of mistakes.
Come on, baby. Give me some love on that.
But
I love that.
But that's okay.
This is
real.
This is Socrates.
Because at the end of the day, we want everything, you want the best and it's just not real. So be okay. You're not going to be perfect. You're just going to be the vet. If you could do anything, just be the best version of yourself for that little girl. Can I tell you something that my wife told me? I think I've told you this before, especially because you're not going to have a little girl, bro. And then honestly, I tell you this from the bottom of my heart. It's different. And you obviously know this because you have both, right?
Right, yes.
And sometimes, and I don't know this because I'm not a father of a son, but I was a son to a father that I think in some way expressed this to some degree. When you are and again, I'm not talking from experience. When you are a father of a son, it's like you kind of get this like pass, like,
What do you mean by pass?
like, yeah, like, there's certain things that it's okay because he's a boy and and whatever. And you don't pay attention to certain little things that you do when it's a girl. And I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse for me because I piss somebody off or whatever, but it's okay because you do have to, I believe this cold-heartedly. It's a different experience and you have to be prepped and prepared to be the father of a daughter. It's different.
How prepped and prepared can you be?
You can't, because I said you're not perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I mean by that is you have to understand that there's so many variables, and this is the one thing that I got from my wife. I love you, baby.
There you go.
And
shout out, Jenny.
And I'm telling you
coming on next.
When she said this to me, it blew my mind, dog. It blew my mind because I didn't think of this, and it's such a simple concept that you would think you would know it. Her and I, like, you're going to have arguments with your wife and you're going to have bad days. And I'm telling you, that's what I'm saying. You're not going to be perfect.
And
one day you're going to be like, and you're going to react to your daughter in a way that's going to make you feel like shit. Oh, it's going to make you bad because it's just different. So her and I arguing, and I get a little upset, and sometimes I get mad, and I'm working on that, and that's
okay.
That's something that I've been working my whole life. But
Papi, this is real shit.
But I get a little upset, and sometimes you can tell, that I'm mad. And she says to me, anything you do in front of your daughter, to me or to her, she's going to think that it's okay for a man to do to her. And I said,
ya no más, Luis.
I said, holy shit.
That's Luis, ya no más.
I was like, what? I'll tell you this.
Oof, Luis.
I'm imperfect.
Give me some love on that.
I am.
Ay, papi, pero me parte la mano.
Sorry. I am, like I said, flawed. And I still make mistakes. And I'm going to continue making mistakes. There's no like, I didn't get this, like instruction manual. I got it. But
heat to 26 degrees. No, nothing like that. No.
Make sure you tested me for, yeah. I'll tell you, bro, that has stayed in the back of my mind.
Makes you process.
Exactly. Everything. And there's still times that you lose your shit.
Because you're human.
Bro, you're human.
You're human and you're keeping it real, and you said that you make mistakes.
You can't change that. I don't care how hard you try. And you're going to, and 10 times out of 11, you're going to be perfect. And then another one, you're not. But the way I see things and in life and in reality is this. It's not so much about the mistakes that you make, it's what you'd make after the mistake that makes the difference.
Absolutely.
So if I've said to my daughter, I'm sorry, I love you, you're the best thing, and I have to apologize to her, and she tells me, but why did you do that? I said, I have no answer for you because your dad is still learning. Your dad's never been your dad. I don't know the right or wrong. I don't know what this is.
Oye.
All I know is that I'm going to do better.
Chill. You're going to make me cry.
It's.
Furthermore, we've been talking for 58 minutes.
Oh, sorry.
All right. I just want you to understand how important that is, right? We're just having a normal conversation. And this is why it's authentic, right? It's just normal.
Yes.
Unedited, unscripted.
That's it. My girlfriend and I talk about that all the time. All the time.
Good.
It's a practice we practice it now. Can't be perfect at it, but we could have a head start. But by the time she gets here, it's already in process. It's not learning it when she gets here and now she's seeing all these things and us going through it, right? So, do we go at it? Absolutely. But
that's not going to stop.
It's how we handle it that will determine everything, right?
Yes.
I want my daughter to know what it's like for how she's supposed to be treated, what it looks like to be in a healthy home, healthy relationship, and just all these things that go into making good person, I want her to understand that, right? So don't allow an individual, I don't want man or woman, to speak you a certain way. You hold yourself to this standard, and this will be always, right? So my girlfriend, soon to be wife, I love you. We've already implemented that now.
By the way, she's already your wife, just so you know.
No, yeah, pretty much, damn right.
Legally te
right?
jodiste.
No, I'm just saying. You may think she's not. You know?
Legally te jodiste ya.
She's
there. She's there. We're there. But because like you said, it's different having a boy and a girl. Like he had both of them, and it was different conversations. He would handle situations with me differently than how he would handle them with my sister. So I would always like, what, you know? And then, no,
You get it.
Maddie,
Well-
love you, Maddie.
Well, you know what? It's crazy. I had, and I'm sure you've had as well. You know, when you have a conversation with someone who's just about to have a baby, and you're like, bro, your life is going to change. And they're like, and then they call you back and they're like, bro, I've had a couple conversations with, you know, some people that I consider friends. And, I was lucky enough for them to ask me my advice, which I'm an idiot. I'm the worst person to ask for advice. I don't think I know anything, but I said to him,
Just knows a little bit about title.
a little, the title part I got, the title part I got. And I tell him, I said, you know, this is going to change your life completely. And there's no right or wrong answer. And when you get that call back, you're like, dude, you were right. Oh my God. Or the thing is that, you know, like that instant love that you feel and you don't know how to translate that because you can't figure out what you're feeling.
No, you know, and that I can't say it.
You can't put it into words.
Yeah,
You
till
can't.
he feels it.
I've been told this by every single person.
And it's the craziest thing.
The moment you see her, you're going to feel this. They don't even know how to explain it.
It's overwhelming, bro. It's the craziest thing because it's like, you know, it's an anticipation, right? And then it's there. And now you're going to have all these emotions at the same time. Fear, laughter. But the one thing is when you see that, for me, it was responsibility. Holy shit. I'm responsible for this until the day I die.
Oof. No, hold on.
We talk about all the time. We don't sleep ever again.
No.
To the day that we die.
No, but now you can appreciate it when your dad, you know,
Absolutely.
when
It
he would
takes
be like, bro, I'm trying to get it. And you're like,
Yeah, it's 3 a.m. Yo, you good? Yeah, go to sleep, bro. I'm good. You can't.
yeah, man.
You can't. And obviously not there yet, but after having conversations with him, we've had conversations already before. Other people, you know, it's just like, I don't know what I'm going to go through, but I have an idea, right? It's like, dude, I just want to have her here in my arms, and it could be at any minute actually. So
yeah,
it's going to be,
it's, bro,
ready.
it's,
Man, you know, like we could talk for hours with Luis because he's that guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's that guy that brings light, brings positivity, brings authenticity.
Thank you.
And that's why I respect him. And for the short period of time that I know of him, I got to, like he was mentioning at the beginning of the podcast, it doesn't 15 years with a friend, 30 years for, you know, and then somebody you meet, you know, he's quickly, you know, our bond has been quickly growing. It's because of that. You know, I can identify with that. So, man, we're glad to have you, Luis, on
Thank
air
you.
with us. We want you to enjoy the ride with us. You know, this is, just the beginning. We did get some shit because we had him on, right?
yeah, we got a little bit of shit.
Like, why you got him on before me?
yeah,
You know?
yeah, that's going to happen. I know it's,
But it's because, Luis is that guy, you know, he's that guy. It ain't going to be your last episode with us.
hopefully not.
Yeah. We're going to grow together. We got some marketing ideas that we want to do. And, Luis, where could you be found for the people? Where can they find you guys? Um, for title services or any other services that you might want to tell them about.
Okay. Again, it's not a plug. I didn't come here for that, but I appreciate, you sharing the time with me.
Correct.
To tell you a little bit about Complete Choice Title. It's, my little baby, my wife and I, we are really committed to this, company because, there's one thing that I've been very lucky with, and this is through the course of time getting here. In any business that you do, it's hard because we all depend on that for prosperity and to provide for our families a paycheck. So sometimes it's difficult to turn away business because you're like, man, I need it or whatever, but I think that this is one of the best things that you could ever learn. It's a lesson that hopefully, you can pass on. Be selective who you work with. Not everybody deserves your time. Not everybody deserves your passion and your knowledge. And it's okay for that. My wife and I have created something that I think to me is special because it's real. Like you said, it's authentic. There's no BS, but we've been lucky enough that we work with the people we want to work with. So every phone call that we get, every interaction that we have in our office is a real interaction with a real person that we care for. And we're lucky enough to do business with. So if you are and you're in the industry and, maybe you're tired of the way that, the processing side of it, if you want to call it that, the business side of it is secondary. We know our shit. Forgive me. I think I'm pretty good at what I do.
You don't have to.
And that's secondary. But if you are, someone that needs a connection that, it's more than just who you work with. It's, you want to, cause again, title's boring. It's the same thing. The 5-6 underwriters that do it all ask for the same things. So the only difference is who are you doing it with, the connection that you have with that company. I think that we share that with the people that we work with. Obviously, you guys know a little bit about it. If that's what you're looking for, then CompleteChoiceTitle.com. But I'm not going to plug it. It's, that's all
your office is in.
So we have an office in Miami Lakes. We have an office in West Palm and an office in Orlando. I'm in the process of trying to grow a couple of other locations, but I am wearing a lot of hats, and a lot of hats sometimes take a lot of time. And,
correct. And it's not a plug. It's not a plug in no shape or form, but at the same time, we want our viewers to know that there's options out there. We personally work with Luis, and
we've personally seen it.
Yes,
we've personally seen it. It's not your average title company. You walk. We like to get there earlier. We chop it up and, we catch up, and it's just a different experience popping champagne bottles, and it's different. It's different. You walk in there, you get the feel of family.
Yes.
We're talking to everyone. We're cracking jokes. It's definitely different. It's a refresh to, some other things that we're used to. And as you guys have seen, this is a great gentleman in front of us. And
thank you.
As you said, be selective with who you work with. And
title is not a problem till it is, right? So like he said, it's boring, but it's not a problem until it becomes a problem. So we are definitely selective of who we choose. Luis, and Yanni and team over there, they do a great job for our clients, and they represent us well, and they make us look like rock stars, right? So it's a basketball team, and he's a point guard. So we want to make sure that we are partnering with the right people. So we're going to sign off. We had a great episode. I do want to leave you with this, right? So I am wearing what a paisa, right? A paisa. What's a paisa, Elkin?
You tell me.
A paisa is somebody from Medellin, Colombia, particularly from a region, it's called Antioquia, right? And, I'm an immigrant, as you know. This is where I was born, right? So, Colombia has the capital, which is, Bogota. We feel that it should be changed to Medellin.
No offense to anyone out there, but
If you did get offended, we're sorry. But we feel, but we feel that, Medellin should be the capital of Colombia.
When you hear people say they're going to Colombia, do they tell you we're going to Bogota? No, they go to Bogota the second time they go to Colombia.
Have you ever been to?
Yes.
Yes. Hi,
Anytime I say,
you little dirty boy.
Sorry.
No, but we got to go. So yeah,
I mean, if there's a trip or,
yeah,
I'm not inviting myself, but if there's a trip,
yeah.
whatever.
I love you.
We're going. No, but
Fishing trip.
fishing in the ocean in Medellin. But yeah, we're grateful for Luis being here. Thank you for taking the time out to be with us. Always grateful for my my co-host and my son, my partner. We're gonna sign off. So
There's only one thing I need to do before we go.
yes,
I have to do it.
do it.
I have to do it. So forgive me. I'm not trying to disrespect anything right now, but I got to do it.
Do it.
Okay, I'm going to do it. I got to lay on this shit. I know you can't see me, but I'm laying on it.
No, they can see you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Guys,
Oh, wait.
before we sign off, Luis, we are giving our newly merch out to each one of our guests. Wear this shit.
I'm wearing it tomorrow.
I know somewhere in that closet you got something orange to match with this.
I got plenty of things.
I
know.
I'm wearing it tomorrow.
There you go. Here we go, big dog.
My brother, thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you both. I appreciate this. This means a lot to me.
Thank you, about, guys. It's love.
It's all love, baby.
Love.
That's what we want. So,
listen, the conversation gets so good that you get lost in it, and we'll have Luis on for other conversations, but this is just to introduce him. He is not only a friend, he is family, and this is to see where the next step goes, and we grow from this, and whatever it comes out to be comes out to me.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
So again,
cheers
thank
to
you
that.
for taking. Yes, absolutely. Cheers.
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 Thank you,
guys. This is 2 Generations Deep. You can find us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. It's been a great episode. Feels great to have good people on. We're signing out. I'm Elkin.
And I'm Elkin. God bless. Peace.